Okay, let's call the meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Denise, we will have the roll call, please.
Okay, Debbie? Here. Dave?
Aye.
Carolyn?
Aye.
Norm?
Aye.
Okay, we'll move right into our visitors. John Troutman from Schenck CPAs is here to go over our financial audit for 2013.
Good. You do have the two copies of the two documents in front of you. It's the management communication letter, which is the stapled version, and then the annual financial report, which is the bound version. I'll be going through briefly the big book, the bound copy, and then go through the management communication letter. So, again, thank you for having me tonight.
Did you have that? Excuse me. Shouldn't give those out, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't have the management letters here.
Well, I have my copy, so I'll share.
Very
Okay,
good.
all right.
Basically, it's summarized data, so if no one else has it, maybe I'll just go through the same data in the actual book. That might be a little easier. So, again, thank you for having me present the audit again this year. The audit itself was completed and dated July 15th, so just scheduling issues and so forth delayed my presentation, but the audit was certainly for a while. So if you want to turn to page 1 of the actual bound copy, that is the independent auditor's report. That's exactly the end result of an audit, is that letter. A few pages of different language, but the gist of it is we issued a clean opinion on your financial statements. So the financial statements that are in that bound document have been audited, and we did issue an unmodified opinion, which is a new term for a clean opinion, or what you expect to have when you have an external audit. Page 2 really goes through the different accounting methods that your financial statements use, and I won't get too technical there. It simply reports on that, and then other reporting required by governmental auditing standards. You turn to page 5, and I'm going to skip past the first 2 pages because really those are essentially the government-wide statements. So they're a little bit different format. Because you're the cash basis small entity, the statements are really very similar. You get to larger entities, and those first 2 statements are very different because they bring in a lot of more information under your debt and assets and so forth. You're very small, so the differences are very minimal. A little bit easier to understand on page 5 because it's more of a balance sheet and income statement, which is what most people are using. So again, same information, just a complete product here, so we're reporting what we have to as far as statements. But page 5 is the statement of assets, liabilities, and fund equity, otherwise previously known as a balance sheet. Really reports your assets and your liabilities and your fund balance. So the main assets you have, liquid assets, cash and investments, $554,879 for 2013. That's up from $395,030 a year ago. And again, that's a cash balance, so that fluctuates. Fluctuates based on a number of different things. Your second asset, which is by far larger, is your restricted cash for tax collections. And of course, that varies by how much tax collections you take in December at the end of the year. Because remember, this statement is a snapshot as of one particular moment in time, and that's December 31st at the end of the year. So whatever you had in the bank on that particular day is what we're reporting. The next statement I'll talk about on the next page is a little bit different. That shows the year ended 2013. So going down the balance sheet there, liabilities, then you have total assets of $2,164,000. Total liabilities, which again is your advanced tax collections, coming back off, because that again is not your money at this point. You turn it back in, then you get settled. Your taxes get settled in January and then again in August. $1,609,000, which is exactly the same as the restricted cash. Then you have fund balance assigned for various things. So you have $13,000 in parks, $78,000 in fire department, $150,000 assigned for highway, and public works at $20,000. Those are really earmarked funds. you've basically assigned your fund balance saying, it's part of our fund balance, of course. It's all the money is in the checking account, all the money is ours, but we've earmarked those funds for various things that we plan on using it for in the future. That's what all those are. You're left with unassigned fund balance of $291,000. We compare that with $270,000 a year ago, so that went up a little bit, rounding up the total fund balance of $554,000. So let's step back and take a look at that $291,000 real quick. Because again, you have $554,000 in the bank, but really only $291,000 carries over into this budget, not earmarked. So that's really your carryover. Well, the industry considers 15 to 20% a good minimum fund balance to have. Now, why that number is just pulled. It isn't a hard, fast number. There's many municipalities with more, unfortunately many with less. What that is really translates to 2.5 months of expenditure. So you take that fund balance of $291,000 and divide it into your total expenditures. That calculation roughly comes out about 38%. So you have over the minimum, so that's excellent. You have excellent cash reserve for an unknown. We have a winter like we had last year, other things that we just can't foresee or you can't budget for because you don't know. It's there if you need it, and that's very important, especially smaller entities. Very important to have that, very important to keep that minimum fund balance there. Any questions on the statement of assets, liabilities, and equity? Page 6 keeps that conversation going, but this time switches gears and says, well, how did we get to that $554,000? So this is the entire year, from January 1st, 2013, all the way to the end of the year. And shows all the revenues collected. Of course, your primary one is taxes, $570,000. And you have the various other functions, intergovernmental licenses and permits, public charges for services, and so forth. Total revenues $928,244, up slightly from $912,000 a year ago. Expenditures paid. Again, it shows how all you distributed all of your expenses by function. The majority of your expenditures are public works, 458,000 rather, and then others, general government, public safety, health and services, culture and recreation, and outlay, rounding up the total expenditures of 768,000. Now again, that fund balance was divided into this number to develop that 38%. Net change in fund balance for the year, the bottom line of the income statement, a positive $159,000. We started the year at $395,000 in fund balance, ended the year at $554,000. So you kind of see how that all works out and how really the operations ended up for the year, the income statement. Page 7 really is that same exact information, but this time it compares with your budget. So now the third column is the numbers I just went through. And then you have original final budget. And the final budget is probably the most important number there. I believe they're the same for you. You don't make too many budget adjustments. Most small governments do not do that. Large governments tend to play around with the numbers a little bit just because they're large and things happen and they make official budget adjustments. But I would say 80 to 90% of small governments do not do that. So yours is the same. When you compare that, now you can see function by function, both in revenues and expenditures, of really how the numbers did as far as your budget. So that statement, especially right now, very important to look at. Of course, you need much more detail, which is why you're given reports with a whole lot more lines on it to know how the fluctuations within these categories show. But certainly a good statement to look at. The balance sheet, the management communication letter itself, the only other thing I wanted to talk about, which you don't have in front of you, but on the second page of the management communication letter, page 2, really discusses really the audit itself, and I already explained that you had an unmodified opinion, which is good, a clean opinion. Page 2 of that really starts talking about internal control, and again, there's kind of some confusion there in the industry where what exactly is an audit. An audit does not issue an opinion on your internal control. No audit does that. It issues an opinion on your financial statements. That's what an audit is. However, page 2 goes a whole entire page devoted to the internal control discussion on what we look at as part of the audit. The audit requires us to look at your internal control. We don't issue an opinion on it, but we do look at it, and we do a lot of testing in that area, which is what takes probably 40% of an audit, is really that internal control awareness and narratives and so forth. And again, you've had separate duties now of the clerk and treasurer, so now if You'll go back to a couple of years ago, you had a segregation of duties finding, which many, many governments have. You do not have that anymore, so you're able to correct it, which is good. That's no longer here. The only one that's remaining now is preparation of annual financial report, and that means the statements I just went through, technically in the federal auditing standards, should be completed internally, meaning outside of the external audits. Well, 95 to close to 100% of small municipalities, and I include all the way up to cities in that, small municipalities, they just hire that out in one process. It's much, much cheaper than hiring another position to do that, and certainly not relevant to most small governments. So again, that's not to say you ignore that finding. That means that as a board, you have to do certain things, and that is this meeting, this educational meeting, other times of the year, if you're looking at the audit, you're looking at the audit numbers, or even your own books, you may give me a call. That communication line is very important there. Because again, as a board, you have to take responsibility for these statements prior to us issuing the audit. That is a procedural step that we do. Make you sign a representation letter, and then we also now have a robust draft review process by you folks. So very important, and then just a general understanding. You certainly don't have to prepare it or know enough to prepare it, but you have to know enough to take responsibility for it. That changes about 3-4 years ago. So I look for more changes coming with that area, especially if you get into more of the federal grants. Now, a lot of small entities don't ever get into those areas, but if you ever do a major project in a department or something and you end up going over the threshold, which is very sizable, currently it's at $500,000 in federal expenditures, the requirements of this, what we're talking about, are going to be a lot more on you. So again, if you're ever planning on doing anything major like that, keep that in mind. If you don't have to worry about that. Any other questions? That's really all I wanted to go over. We'll go through everything with the audit, but if you have any questions in general of the audit or in general of government compliance, I'll be happy to take them.
We have had some discussion. I don't know, does anybody have any questions about any of this that you have? Norm, you haven't really had a chance to read it. We had discussed the possibility of next year not doing an audit, but having a review. However, I thought there was going to be a significant difference in cost for that. And what you sent me was not.
No.
So I was wrong?
Well, everyone's definition of significant is different. But there is a certain amount of work that we have to do.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, it was difficult because there isn't enough history there as far as what you have. That's a maximum, again. So if we had 2-3 years like last year, that number would be less. So I don't think that number going forward for the review would be even the same or higher like a normal audit fee would go. As long as things stay the same, I would say that would go down. If that answers your question. There's not enough history to say it's only going to be X, Y, Z, and then we end up giving you a 60% discount, which is what we had a few years ago. So that's the best I can do for now.
Okay.
But again, reviews are typically less, but they're not an unbelievably less. They're not,
Okay.
There's still a minimum amount of work that has to go into it.
Sure.
Now, what will help you is essentially using your books to having no journal entries and stuff like that. If you do that, the price goes down significantly for the review especially, because then we don't have to do any journal entries or anything like that. So that plays much more into it than just the difference between a review and an audit.
Okay. Well, we're going to have to discuss it, I guess.
You bet.
So,
What do most townships, do they generally go with an audit versus review, or?
Well, most, meaning all of them in a population of the state, I would say probably most do not.
Most do not.
Correct. Especially townships. I mean, there's probably more townships that don't have anything than have a review or an audit. But as you get bigger, as you get different townships, we have a lot of townships as clients in both review and audits. So some have had an audit for 30 straight years and they don't need one. absolutely have to have on their board, and citizens require one, and it's just the way they want to go. Others have had a review for that length of time. What others do, and have a number of clients like this, they'll have a review and then have an audit every 5th year. And some go even further and don't have anything for 3-4 years, and then they'll have a review, and then they have an audit. And that's certainly an option for you, absolutely.
Okay,
You bet.
thank you.
You bet, thank you.
We'll be in touch,
Sounds
let
good.
you know.
Thank you.
Tim Breland is not here. Okay. We have, so I don't know, we had the CSM for him. For Marge Hanson. It was a farm consolidation,
Maybe if we hold it until.
and he may show up. Okay, so we'll just go on to Mr. Chilson.
Evening. I got the information from Denise, of the residents that live along Marsh Road, and I have spoke with every one of them that are on the list. Every one of them was okay with it. Some had some, good questions, and some, had no questions at all. So a lot of the questions that were asked were speed or driveway or ditches, and like I addressed it with you last month, it would be strictly on the road, no ditches, no driveways, lawns, nothing like that. So, and they were fine with that. So, since then we have gotten all the landowners' permissions where our intended trail to go, so it's just up to, I would assume, you guys to.
I guess I just had one question, and in thinking about it over the last month, I know where the trail goes across Todd, and with the carbide rods, it does create an issue, I guess, at certain points in time. And Marsh is a chip seal road, and I'm just wondering what effect that would have on that chip seal road. And this is what I thought about last month.
Yeah.
And believe me, I support the snowmobile trail because I think over half mile goes through our farm, and in fact it's closer to 3/4 of a mile. But have you exercised all avenues, and you want to get from, explain it for the people that are here, you want to get from where to where?
Okay. In the past, for example, last year, our trail come out of the marsh, went down the rail grade, past the pump house, out to Man Road, and then we traveled on Man Road, down the side of it, past the vet clinic to the stop sign, and then we crossed E and into the field. I addressed it with the council last month. That was a big safety issue for us. Myself, doing my loops and checking things out. There's a lot of families in the area that is just south of here that are, it's families that are traveling less than 5 feet from cars. And to me, that's a big issue, and I do not like that. So that's why I asked the board if we could use Marsh Road, come right out of the marsh, and straight up, and then across E and into the parking lot. That's where we're at now. To answer your question, the road that I live on north of Stratford is also chip seal. It has been that way for 5 years. I can almost honestly say it's more heavily traveled than what we're anticipating on this route. And yes, there is, the chip seal is taking a beating, I guess. Because of, it's a stop sign on each side, and they're spinning across the road versus coming out. And like I addressed last month, generally your town patrol guy does an awesome job for as a snowmobiler, he leaves a little bit of crust on there, which would really help your road and really helps us, to keeps the snowmobilers on the road. If this is something that, we do approve, as a club, we talked about it last night, if we could get just your patrol guy to work with us a little bit there rather than shaving it down. Some of the residences did say that sometimes that road is last, and that's why they didn't have a big issue of it, tearing up the road or going into their driveways, because the snow machines could stay right on the road.
Did you ever look at, across the field, where the, Wenzel stables are?
Yes, ma'am?
Okay, that field just to, what is that? South is, to shoot right up from the marsh, all the way through that field?
Yes,
Have
ma'am.
you approached them at all? And I think even since last month, I noted that the farm across E and Franklin Farm, there are no cattle there either. And then you get into Bruce Seafer, and we cross a couple places on Bruce's.
Yes.
Did you approve or approach them at all? I don't know.
Everybody on the east side of the road last year, Jamie Greenberg went extensively to
Okay.
try, they're out where you're talking about, ma'am.
Mhm.
There's a piece of property real close to the rail grade that is co-owned, and one person had no problem with it. The other lady, that's as far as I'll say, no go.
No.
And then, in saying that, there are several property owners that have the land closer to the rail grade, that are closer to the not suburbs, but the residences in there. They don't want the heavy traffic of the snowmobilers. There are residents there that have snow machines that have their own little routes for access. That's why we still intend to groom that, to serve as an access, so nobody's busting drifts and injuring that way. But yes, last year we went extensively. That's why Nan Road was our very last option.
Yeah. If we would give you permission for a trial this winter, with stipulations that any damage that's done, we would expect you to pay for.
That would be above our club.
Okay.
I mean, we don't have that type of fun. We do a chili feed to pay for it.
Okay.
We're not trying to stifle the plan, and I support snowmobiling, but by the same token, we're charged with protecting the roads also.
And safety, because if they want to leave snow on there, that might be an issue too.
Typically, well, there is no anything typical, I guess, after last winter, but how many days, do you have an average, do you get any average days of snowmobiling weather in this part of the area?
Yes.
What might that be?
Last year was a record year for us.
For all of us.
7 months.
Some of
It's
us
one
wish-
tough sled in the summer too.
Yeah.
And we as a club, we know that you're concerned with the road, just like it was last year, I think, when Justin talked to
Yes.
you about that, ma'am. And our intent is still the same here. Like I said, some of the residences, I did ask if there is snow on there. A lot of them say there are. Some people that don't live right on Marsh, but that live on one of them back streets
Yeah.
that walk on there, they said it's sometimes blacktop and sometimes there's a hard pack. I can address it with John Daniels, our trail coordinator for Marathon County, and see what he has to say about the damage and stuff.
Would you stay to the south part of the road?
It would be
Or
on the road, but on the sides, I should say.
I'm just thinking with the shadow, the south side of the road would probably be more shaded and probably carry more snow. At least that's what I noticed as the days get longer into the spring.
Mhm.
You know, the north side of the road will clear off quicker than the south side.
Well, they're gonna wanna stay on snow anyway.
Right.
Yeah, for that length of
Right,
distance,
right,
yeah.
right.
And that's the thing, as long as there is snow on the road, as a club, we think the snow machines will stay on it. We are gonna, we know this as of last night, we are gonna be spending quite a bit of money just in signage
Mhm.
and posts and the snow fence like you had seen on Man Road that we put out,
Yes.
just so we don't have incidences and,
Plus volunteer time that you do to put it all in.
yes, sir, it's all volunteer.
No,
So,
Well, I don't know.
try to do. This is-
I guess maybe we can try it for 1 year and see what happens.
okay. I have no
And
problem.
please do speak to Mr. Daniels about,
I don't know if you guys can put up speed limit signs,
Oh,
or
yes.
slow, or something, you know, so, or a big sign that says we're on a trial basis, don't screw it up.
Long trail.
Yeah.
Sometimes the wording ain't proper like that.
okay,
definitely
we got it.
And yes, that was my intent. I understand if this does work out, I do know I have to come back and ask next year also.
Yes.
So I'm fully aware of that, and so is our club, so.
We'll probably have feedback by then.
Yes, sir.
Do we need a motion on that?
I think so.
Okay, I make a motion to approve the snowmobile trail along Marsh Street
I'll second it.
For 1 year?
for 1 year.
Okay, the motion has been made and seconded to approve the snowmobile trail on Marsh Road for 1 year. Is there any further discussion? Okay, we can take a vote.
Okay, Debbie,
Aye.
Dave,
Aye.
Carolyn,
Aye.
Norm?
Motion carried.
Thank you.
I've got a question for him. Where do you plan to go after you cross E?
Out into Mr. Franklin's field,
Okay,
and then it goes, I believe, around, there's one residence there, I think the original farm. And then there's a driveway that comes down to the road, across there, and then at an angle down to the woods.
That's Ross Jones.
Jamie Greenberg talked to all the residents, and he's got the aerial map on where the trail would actually go. I wasn't involved in that.
So it crosses over Elm there, coming out of Franklin's? Is that where?
No, she's.
it must have to go towards Schaefer's Woods.
Yeah, that was one of the property owners that was mentioned last night.
And then it would have to cross Birch, correct?
I
Kelvin.
don't know the
Yeah.
names.
Galvin it would be, I
Where's it tie into the
Where would
existing
you tie
trail?
into the existing?
East of that creek or west of the creek?
Tied in next to Seahafer's farm residence on top of the hill.
Yeah,
But as
that's
of-
where it starts, there's
Yep, that's where
corner back there.
Stratford and our club met last, well, for several years now. But Mr. Seafer has got new seating there on the west side of the road. So now it's actually gonna be further north, down where I believe where the pine trees are and the field come together. Oh, right over here.
Yeah.
So how are we gonna get the Marshfield over? Because Frank used to go back by Bruce and Chris, Ben's place there, you know, and that was a junction for going, you could go to Spencer, Marshfield, and.
You could still do that, Elmer. Where it used to T, like when you come past Radetzky's there.
Yeah,
along the
across
field.
97
And then there was a T there, that's no longer gonna be there, you're gonna have to travel about another 1/4 mile on trail. And then, like I said, where Mr. Seaver doesn't want,
Bruce doesn't want to have the field there.
okay, right there is gonna be a T that would bring you up on the trail here and then into the marsh to go to Spencer. It will not be going across, I believe, Mr. Goetz's land no more. And there won't be no trail going to someplace else because there's no one occupying that.
No place else there.
There's no place else now.
So
But as long as we
where's
get the Marshfield and get the Weilers and get some.
it gonna cross the Alvin? If you gotta go up here past through Jack's, over to the corner over here by Schaefer's Woods,
Okay,
you gonna go through Schaefer's Woods or bypass it?
as far as I know, somehow through it. That's.
And then where are you gonna go from Schaefer's Woods?
Across Birch then.
You're gonna cross Birch or cross the Alvin?
It's not gonna, it is gonna continue that way until we get up to Bruce Seaver's land again.
So it does go.
Well, you're gonna go south,
Across the Birch.
cross Birch,
Go across Franklin's.
and then you're gonna go into Schaefer's again,
Schaefer's, yeah.
and then into Bruce's.
Then we're crossing
And
on
then you're gonna
Chip
hook
Seal
up
again.
on
Alright.
the west side, followed by the intersection.
Not quite
Okay,
as
so
far
I
as
think
the
we
road
need to move
section.
on. Okay,
Johnny Lane.
I think we need to move on. We need to vote. We did, yes, we did. We're done, thank you. Okay, yeah,
We
okay.
have a bunch of.
Thank you very much. Okay, at this point, we have comments from audience. The audience, any comments?
I have you.
I have a, thank you for this time.
Mhm.
On the issue over here on Galloway, I see that portion of the road's been blacktop, it's the second layer now. And that road's been in existence for, let's say, 8 to 10 years. My question is there ever been a performance bond handed over to the town from that subdivider? And what protection does the taxpayer have if something goes wrong with that road and we take that road over? The taxpayers are on the hook for fixing that road if it was subpar to begin with.
Well, but they did a lot of extra work other than just blacktopping. They did, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's some extra.
they did extra, so it's supposedly very good now. However, they haven't shouldered it yet.
No, I was down there today, I see
Yeah,
it was.
yeah, and so when I approached him on that, he didn't care to speak to me about it, so. So therefore, we have not gone anywhere with it. I picked on our new ordinances,
Yeah, the
you
same-
had that one?
That performance bond is also in the new ordinances,
Yeah, 440.25.
correct? Yes.
I don't know, you know, to me, I don't know if this was ever discussed with him or not. When he came forward to
That-
build the road.
Plat, probably, that plan was probably at least 10 years ago.
Yeah,
And I'm assuming it would have been, Jeanette Heath was the plan commission person at that time, and I'm assuming it would have been Blair was chairperson. That's what I'm assuming, I'm not saying fact or fiction, it was. But I'm assuming, and I understand that this performance bond is supposed to be for the protection of the residents and the town against subdivision people not doing what they're supposed to do according to what the criteria was set for them
Yeah.
building subdivisions. And other subdividers have put money in escrow or a letter of credit or anything. So, I mean, are we getting ourselves into a predicament here where we're not gonna allow him to do this? And when other subdividers want to subdivide, are we gonna say, well, you have to do this, and he's gonna turn around and say, Mr. Hill didn't do it, so why do I have to do it? I mean, we gotta stop bouncing the ball with this
Well-
man and get something done.
except that I don't know who made the agreement in the first place. I don't know who it was, and we didn't have anything to do with it.
I agree
However,
with that.
now, Russ knows, and because he's talking about doing his road. And so he knows, we've gone over all of this. So Russ knows, so moving forward, and also, what's his name? Winterberry North.
Oh, Williams?
Williams.
Yeah, yes,
Has he
also,
provided anything?
no, he has put in one layer, so we, but we inspected that road from day one.
Mm-hmm.
Tom Hardinger did. So I think, that's,
So is our town engineer gonna inspect
oh,
Most definitely.
this road before we accept it?
Oh, yeah.
oh yeah, it has to be.
Okay.
That's the protocol.
And if he finds anything that's not up to standard, he comes back to the town board has the right to accept or reject, correct?
Exactly.
Correct.
Okay.
So he's.
Are there
he's
any
trying
other issues or town roads that haven't been dedicated besides that one and Williams so far that we know of?
Well, Russ's is going
Well,
to be
yeah,
down
okay,
the
there's
road.
three, but like,
Three of them.
okay,
I mean, I have no idea about any of the others.
because we did put together a new road ordinance, and that new road ordinance went into effect after William started his, so he was grandfathered in under the old one, just like Hill was grandfathered in under this performance bond.
Yeah.
Right.
And I guess my concern is, and everybody in this room that's a taxpayer ought to be concerned about being left on the hook if something's not done right. And we take that road over, and lo and behold, we gotta foot the bill. Because there was no money put in escrow or line of credit or anything established from the developer.
But you see, this performance bond is for if the required improvements or the road are not complete and they're held under the escrow agreement, or performance bonds shall be turned over and delivered to the town. So if it is completed, if the work is completed, then that's the end of the bond. If we have nothing, it doesn't say that and it says, any balance remaining after each improvement has been made shall be returned to the owner. So we've not even gotten to that point. So when it's finished, then we don't need a bond.
You haven't returned anything because you haven't received anything. But
That's
there was
correct.
no bond to begin with from him because it should have been done from
It
day
should have
one.
been done, yes, exactly.
So.
And it wasn't, so
my
there's
next-
no way, we really have nothing except
We don't, why are we doing the road then? Why are we in there maintaining the road as far as plowing?
because
snow?
he's playing that amount every single year.
And then,
And so he's already been told, that's it.
so if we go in there and damage the new road, who's liable?
I would say he is at this point.
It is, because
it's
we
not
haven't
our
accepted
road.
it.
Because that's a private drive, correct?
Yes,
And we used to plow private drives many years ago, and we quit that policy
Right,
because of the liability in it.
yeah. He's liable for that road until we accept it.
So,
And-
from what I understand, we are not going to go in there and service that road at all from here on out?
No, he pays his money, he pays that $1,600 every year. And and also, we've already discussed this about, if he doesn't get that shouldering done so the engineer can get in and inspect this, he's gonna have to fork that over again this year on top of his blacktopping.
So what I understand you're just saying, we are contracting out to him to maintain that road for winter plowing.
He's paying what the state would give us if we had that as our road.
Right, so he's contracting us to do that.
Yes.
So we are a contractor.
no one.
So us as a contractor are liable for any damages on that road.
No, no, it's his
If he's
road.
paying us to do it, why wouldn't we be?
Yeah.
What he's doing is reimbursing us the money that we would receive from the state had we accepted the road.
But
Yes.
that's considered under state statutes a private right.
It is a private road.
And we discontinued that practice many years ago. And what I'm trying to get my point across here is we will be liable for any damages occurred on that road, seeing we contracted out being paid by him through that road. Just like any contractor that would come up here and damage something or do something up here.
I think what it amounted to is the board before us had made this agreement, and we are trying to stay in good standing with Mr. Hill until he gets his road done. And then the demands were put on him to get the road done.
How long are we gonna allow these demands?
I know, I called, Larry, I called him too.
I mean,
You never
I
returned
don't,
my
a
call.
person doesn't wanna play hardball with him, but it's coming to the point where maybe we have to take the ball away from him.
Yeah, I think you're right, because he was very nasty to me when I said, you do realize that you are responsible for getting that shouldering done now, to protect what is there right now, the new road, and he said, yes, I understand that. And I said, well, I need to have that done now. I haven't even looked at the road, and he hung up on me. So then I said to Dave, it's your turn. But he won't return
So in other
Dave's
words, she
call.
passed the ball to you.
He's a highway guy.
Well, here's another thought for you then. If he doesn't wanna play ball with us, when we go to collect this, or he wants to give us this $1,600, he should also sign a waiver stating that any damages that are incurred on that road, we are not liable for. That way it protects the taxpayers.
That's a good idea,
I agree.
yeah.
Because Mr. Hill will want you to pay for every pebble that's out of place.
Yes, we know that.
It's a good idea.
Good idea, we'll do that.
And then I see on the bottom of the agenda here that we are gonna be replacing Mr. Jeff Ingles as a supervisor.
Yes,
And I think that in the last election, the public has spoken, because the election was, the top three candidates were Debbie Dierfuss, Norm Kummer, and Gary Franz, and there was only 10 votes or less that separated all three. I think the board should consider Gary Franz very strongly because of the way the public has spoken and the way the public has voted. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
okay. Any other comments? Yes, sir.
Speaking of the private, I thought at one time, what is that, Gilead on the other side of
Gilead? Oh, over in Cayman. No, I'm,
Gilead, yeah.
Gilead, the other side of T,
Just off the curb when you start going straight.
oh,
did the township take that over, or is that still private? I thought a year or so ago that it was brought up that, you know, that was private yet too.
I'm sure that was taken over before my time.
I
We
don't
can
know.
check the minutes and find out. Because that was,
We do
that was
maintain
Ken
it. We
Harder's.
do maintain
Yeah, I know
Yeah.
we maintain it, but
So-
I thought, I don't
So
know, a
I
year or so
don't think
ago.
we would unless,
He was taken.
yeah. Okay, all right. We'll check it out, just to make sure. Okay, approval, let's move on to approval of minutes.
I make the motion to approve the minutes in September 8th, special meeting September 19th, and special meeting September 24th, 2014.
I'll second that.
Motion has been made to approve the minutes of September 8th, 2014, special meeting September 19th, 2014, and special meeting September 24th. Is there any further discussion? Then we'll take a vote.
Okay, Debbie,
Aye.
Dave,
Aye.
Carolyn,
Aye.
Norm,
Plan commission. He didn't show up, so I guess I don't, huh? Just wait and see if he shows up yet? I guess we can, but
You should have represented the person.
yes. Okay, fire department, Kevin.
Everybody got my notes, so unless there's any questions from anybody, I'm trying to keep it simple.
No, don't think so.
I have a question, or not a question, a request. I need you to look over the old website and decide in the fire department area what you want transferred to the new website, if anything.
Okay.
Okay, or get the information to Denise on what you want put on the new website.
There's gonna be a new website?
We're working on it.
We're about to get there.
We're getting there. We're getting closer every day.
Anyway,
Yeah. The other thing that you don't have here on number 7, job descriptions, weren't those supposed to be in there too?
yeah, I posted.
Yeah, okay, but you don't have them as a copy, so,
I didn't know I was supposed to.
yeah, that was, yeah. I thought that was all part of it. Hmm?
We approved the job descriptions.
I know,
Okay.
so we just need a copy,
Oh, okay.
yeah. I thought that's all of, and he didn't write that on here, so,
Mm.
so.
We had approved the job descriptions before we approved the bylaws, remember?
Yeah,
Okay. We just need a copy of it for, in the clerk's office.
yeah.
With all the other stuff,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
that's all I'm saying, 'cause
Oh,
you just
yeah.
didn't have that written
Written
on
on
there.
there, okay. Yeah, no, yeah.
Okay. All right, we'll get it. We'll get it all. Okay. Okay, anything else?
No.
Okay. All right. Library Ruth.
Okay. I put 2 news articles on the bulletin board. One concerns candidate information from the library. They have like 25 different newspapers that people can go through, and then a database for information. And currently, the library has memorabilia on display from early 1900s and the early libraries that were built around the state. So it's different souvenir items, which might interest some people. Activities at the library now, October 25th is Make a Difference Day event, which will involve local heroes reading to the children. The 16th, November 16th, Great Things Are Happening Here, which this is the 4th year they've done that. It's on a Sunday afternoon, and it's different organizations that can set up a table and present their information. And they have 15 so far that are going to be there. Story time for the children began. There are 24 involved in that. 80 children are in the 1,000 Books Before Kindergarten series. Battle of the Books is going to be used to encourage youth to read, and no dates have been set to start that yet. Caregivers event, which is through the county, will be at the library, and I know there are several sessions, and I don't have the exact dates on those yet. And then the October 30th is Tales from the Haunted Woods with Tracy Chipman. November, they are going to have an open mic night. There's no date set for that yet. November 9th is an adult craft workshop. December, they're going to have a holiday community sing-along and story time with the Sweet Adelines and community members. No date on that one yet either. And then the book sale was $4,400 profit on that.
Ruth, is there anything that you want put on the website for the library? Could you find some of the links for me that we would need to get where we need to go?
Probably could take it off of that one article on the page that's on the board.
Okay.
Look at that. So,
I don't know if you want a spot on there for posting what's going on at the
I think
library?
it's easier to go to the library site. It's more thorough.
So we need a link to that. Do we have a link to the library on the old website?
I don't.
I would think that would be beneficial. I'll have to look into that one.
Yes.
Since I'm working so hard on it.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, thanks, Ruth. It sounds like they're doing, are they doing a lot more stuff than?
No, I think it's fall and school's in action, and I think we're just gearing up for that. People are around.
Oh, okay. All right, thank you. Norm, did you have anything to add?
I think Ruth gave a nice report, thank you.
Way to go, Norm.
That is kind of an easy one, thank you.
Okay, on trying to get our, budget done. That was all I really had to speak about. And then, are we gonna try and get this newsletter out again? We usually send out the budget thing in a mailing yearly, before the budget meeting, haven't we in the past?
I don't remember.
Yeah, I think we did.
Did you want
We
to-
didn't do it last year, but I think we had it all available for everybody when they came to the meeting, but
I think that's the way they've done it the last few years, was for the budget. I don't know if you want to put it out in the mailing, or do you want to put another newsletter out, just have one?
well, I know, and that's why I'm asking. I
Any
don't know.
suggestions?
Maybe do a postcard to remind people.
My suggestion would be to mail it out with a newsletter before the budget hearing.
Well, that's in less than a month.
Oh, I think Denise and I have that down pat, right, Denise?
Do that, yeah.
Because that's the way it's been done. It's been done both ways in the past. It was handed out at the budget meeting and it was also mailed out.
Yeah.
And it seems like when you mail it out, you get more
Got more.
participation.
Better
How
response.
soon do we have to do that?
It would have to be out at least a week before next month's meeting.
When's our last, supposedly, last meeting?
Wednesday, isn't it? For
That was
budget?
the 16th.
16th.
Thursday.
Or Thursday,
Thursday.
I'm sorry.
When is your scheduled budget hearing
Thursday.
No, the budget
Oh,
hearing
budget
is
hearing.
November tenth,
for the public?
10th of November,
Pardon me?
the 10th of November.
Same night as the next board meeting.
Because last year it was the Monday during deer hunting.
Good time.
And I know that for a fact.
Yeah, I think we heard about that, didn't we?
I wasn't around to tell you about it.
I think I had made the suggestion, we tried to do it like a day before the board meeting to eliminate an extra.
How normally long do they last? Sometimes they can last 2 hours.
Well, that's the way it is, you
Did it
know.
all one night.
Try to do it all in one evening, though.
Have a long board meeting.
Yeah.
Pack lunch.
Yeah,
We
you
can
can
bring
bring
pizza.
treats. We'll expect treats, just so you can go deer hunting.
Or we
Okay,
can schedule it during deer hunting.
So do they want a newsletter? Or?
well, what, yes,
If you send a newsletter out, can you put a reminder in there for people not to plow across the road?
oh, yeah, oh,
For
yeah,
snow plowing,
yeah,
please?
yeah. And,
Well, maybe plan on one then. A
Yeah.
newsletter.
So we got, what, 3 weeks?
Yeah.
Is there a way not to get this into crunch time?
No.
Can't do that?
Not get it into crunch time? No.
Like, can't we schedule it?
okay, so when are we doing it?
Well, it would have to be out by the 31st, right? Or available for mailing by the 31st? So you're talking,
We got 2 weeks then. By October 31?
yeah, I would think so, that you want to get it out at least
So
a
that,
week.
in the meeting, if we do it on the 10th,
Right,
by 31st, can we do that? That's 2 weeks.
how long does it take to get it printed up and,
They're pretty good about that.
Yeah, within a couple days, but I need to print from all of us.
right, so if you had everything by the 28th from everybody,
How about the 24th?
how about I'm on vacation?
Well, what about, we don't, no, I mean, just make it specifics here.
Yeah,
It doesn't need to have a report from all of us, because it wasn't that long
So what
ago.
do we want in, budget?
We want the budget
Budget.
and the,
We heard snow plowing.
what else is important to get in at that time?
How about voting,
I'm gonna-
election time?
I'm gonna put
that'll
something
be
in
open.
about tax collections probably.
Tax
and-
collections.
Well, the-
It's very-
Yeah, you're right, but the election is November 4th, so I don't know.
Oh. Okay. All right,
I'm just asking
I
what
know.
should be in it.
yeah, okay, well, I think that if we keep it, I mean, because people just wanna see the budget for the most part anyway. But there'll be information, have the article about the snow plowing and the tax collections.
So just put out a quick flyer with
Yes,
the budget?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
I'll work with you.
okay, yeah, okay.
To be done.
Your life just became a whole lot easier.
Okay, Dave, let's move to highway.
After still mowing ditches and back banks, there's a lot of improvement on the back banks where the crops have been taken off. He's had a chance to, and he has asked permission by the property owners to get on those back banks when the soil conditions are okay to do that. He's cut those off, and that's improved the intersections in a lot of the areas of the township. We still have to shoulder Stod after we did our blacktopping on Stod south of C. We're checking into prices on tires and that sort of stuff for the grader. We actually got a quote back today and we checked several different venues. Other than that, I guess you had correspondence, Madam Chairman, with MSA on a capital improvement. I didn't make that meeting.
Yes, we did meet with them, and we've had our first delivery of projects for the capital improvement plan. So, I don't remember when their next meeting.
Let me look and see if they took those back down.
Other than that, I don't have anything else. What are you looking for, capital improvement, MSA meeting?
Well, we've sent in all that,
It's gonna be on the 3rd of November
November 3rd.
at 6 o'clock. Denise should remember that.
The other thing is that we have received the money from Mullins. Did we receive the money from Oak Lane?
No.
They're probably meeting tonight, or
Yeah. Okay, and we have submitted all of the paperwork for the grant money.
and that's in Jim Griesbach's office.
Hopefully it's in the state office by
Okay,
now.
but it went
I
through,
talked to him last week.
but it went through the county, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, yeah. So, oh, and here is something else for the highway. I attended the meeting that was presented by Wisconsin Towns and the county on highways, and we do have to pass an ordinance on all this machinery.
Implements of husbandry.
Yeah, yeah. And we have 3 options, so that in November, who is the gentleman that does the farm work at the university? He will be coming to the meeting to give a presentation on this.
Scott Fisher,
Maybe,
up here?
yes.
Scott Fisher.
Okay, and he's going to come to the meeting, he was there, and we have 3 options to choose from. He will be presenting those, and we have to vote, pass an ordinance, and it has to be into the state. So that will be next meeting.
So
Okay,
that's on the call for the November meeting.
that'll be on the November meeting,
Okay.
and we have to get it. The state has already chosen their option, the county is already.
And that's the same night as the budget meeting too.
Insurance bids.
Oh, we got insurance bids too.
Oh, jeez.
How about starting at 5?
We have to start before that.
I'll be able to budget at 6.
And that's at the fire department, correct?
Mm-hmm, yes.
Maybe you guys could sell brats that night.
3 o'clock brats.
Oh, that's a lot. Yeah,
So
well,
we're just gonna have a lengthy meeting and hopefully the other will
yeah,
come.
yeah. Okay. All right, Deb?
Okay, for buildings and grounds, we had gotten some prices on repairing the front of this building with the concrete, but we haven't quite decided on what we're gonna do yet for sure. because we found out that we're gonna need some more extensive work because of the mold and everything that's in the back office here, so we've been kind of hashing that over at budget time. Also with the website, I talked to Taylor. We are to the point where, we're just trying to figure out what we want, and I need everybody that's like you and you, go through that old website, pick out what you want from there so we can transfer it to the new. And I've also let Taylor know that you have like the ordinances and that type of thing that needs to be put on there. So, from the clerk and treasurers, and also we need to figure out from the old website to the new and what new you want to put on there, and from the plan commission, so I don't know who's in charge of that one. Who's doing the website portion on what's going to go on there?
Well, no,
John, I suppose so.
I guess.
Okay, so he'll have to figure out what he wants put on there. And then Dave, you got the boundary committee, right, and there's some stuff on the old already, so you might wanna look over and see if anything needs to be edited on there. Cause you don't have anything else to do anyway, right?
Well, you know, we, after our meeting last month, we did contact this gentleman that Solaris bought the site, the website from their business. And so now, do we know how much money we have paid Solaris?
No, well, I did have a bill on my desk, I can't remember, I wanna say $400.
I thought it was 500 that Jeff had told me, because he said we had to purchase the software in order for them to start on this.
I
Yes.
think it was just, 400 something, just under 500, last year. I asked Taylor today when I talked to him, to get a copy of the contract or something to tell, and he's gonna contact the sales department at Solaris. He doesn't have that, of course, but he'll try to track it down for me.
They've already got money invested in it, so I would just assume.
Yeah, and pretty much gonna be following what we had before, correct? Except with the changes.
Right. Yeah.
So,
I mean, it's not a bad looking website, we just changed 2 pictures around since, from what he had on there to begin with. And it looks 100% better already just by doing that, so.
I don't know,
That's why it's so dark.
yeah. So, at least,
We're moving forward anyway. And I told him I'd get a hold of him as soon as I knew what we were gonna be shifting.
isn't there stuff, couldn't they be updating at least part of it right now?
Of course, as soon as we give them the information, we
Yeah.
can update. But what do we want from the old website? Does anything need to be edited on there? I
Yeah.
mean, it has to be looked over and decide what do we wanna do, so.
Okay. Anything else, Deb?
No.
Okay. All right, let's go to the clerk. Approval of checks and financial report.
Okay, we started the month, with 300, you guys all have your sheet?
Yes.
Okay, $373,723.20. September receipts were $74,662.30. September disbursements were $286,714.19. After making the payroll adjustments, payroll liability adjustments, the ending cash balance on September 30th was $161,644.83. For the checks printed since the last meeting, so September 9th through today, total $110,379.86. That is checks number 12,996 through 13,052, and 22, 23, and 27.
I'll make a motion to approve check numbers 12,996 to 13,052, and transactions 22, 23, and 27. And the clerk's report, financial report.
I'll second.
I need that last check one.
The big number or the individual little numbers? There's 22, 23, 27,
Yeah, I got
and then the
that.
last one was 13052.
13052.
Yep.
Okay. All right. All right, the motion has been made to approve the checks 22, 23,
Here's the
20.
transaction.
27.
27, and transactions, and then checks 12996 through 13052. Any further discussion on these?
Bill from American Asphalt, that was for both the contract a year ago and also the overlay, the extra, for the 56,000, I think.
Well, what it is the 40,000 that was
Right.
brought forward, and then they had to go back and do more,
Right,
and that's it.
that was my question.
Yeah. Okay, any further discussion? Okay, let's,
Roll call.
mhm.
Debbie?
Aye.
Dave?
All right,
Carolyn?
Aye.
Norm?
Aye.
And then we need a motion to accept the,
I already did that in my first.
was that in the first one? I did not say that. So that should have been included in the going over it. So you have that in there. Okay. All right, Ann.
Okay, checking account bank balance was $213,903.92, minus outstanding checks of $3,646.95. We also had to include $10 that was received in September and deposited in October for a checking account balance of $210,266.97. Tax savings account has been zeroed out. We started CD for the fire department replacement apparatus for $4,100. Public works replacement apparatus CD has $40,076.90. The park fund savings account is $13,673.86. Fire department savings account is $33,527.10. Total cash on hand is $301,644.83. Subtract out the loan for the fire truck, and the total is $161,644.83.
And I'll make a motion to accept the financial report from the treasurer
I'll
for September of 2014.
I'll second that.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the financial report for September 2014. Is there any further discussion? Is the Fall Fest, are we through, have we gotten everything on that?
We're really close. Scott and I got together last week, and we're just about there. There's some bills that were paid tonight that I didn't have in my numbers, so,
Okay,
when I get those in there, and we both have to make a couple of adjustments, and then I think we're gonna pretty much be there, so.
okay, good. All right. Denise?
Debbie?
Aye.
Dave?
Aye.
Carolyn?
Aye.
Norm?
Aye.
Okay. Okay, now we'll move into our unfinished business. Approve, disapprove, we have the ambulance contract.
And I'm guessing that went down in price, right?
Yeah, right.
Sure.
Mhm. Last year's amount was $42,361. This year, it's $44,704. I know. I know.
Move to approve the ambulance contract in the amount of $44,704.
I'll second.
Motion has been made to approve the ambulance contract with the city of Marshfield for $44,704. Is there any further discussion on it?
What would they do if we disapprove this?
We go without an ambulance.
Well, we have to have an ambulance.
Right. So,
I mean, how can we negotiate some pricing with them? They just throw a number at us and we have to approve it. That's pretty
well,
much
they
it.
have this formula that they go by. I can't remember what it is,
But
but
does it pay for Marshfield Fire Department? I mean, that's about what it looks like.
Who else could provide that service in their area?
Unfortunately, that's why they got us.
The only game in town.
yeah.
They negotiate, and they have contracts with 12 municipalities besides the city of Marshfield. It's based on evaluation, some of it's based on valuation, miles from their facility, and what is another number of calls, yeah.
But they keep going up on price constantly, at least 5% a year. It's ridiculous.
This is why I've always asked if it could be taken out of the fire department budget and put it in a separate.
No.
I'll ask again though, I'm gonna ask every year, so
That's a good idea. Let's keep asking.
That's your job.
Okay, all
It makes our
right.
budget, you know.
Okay, so let's vote on this.
Okay, Debbie?
Aye.
Dave?
Aye.
Carolyn?
Aye.
Norm?
Okay, approved, we have two resolutions here that we have to go over.
Carolyn, you need anything from me or am I free to go?
No, you can,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you.
Our resolution on farmland preservation zoning district ordinance and accompanying map amendment. We do have the new map. I have to read all of this. Okay, and this is to the Marathon County Zoning Committee. And this is states that I, Denise Barb, clerk of the town of McMillan, Marathon County, do hereby certify that the following is a true and correct copy of the resolution adopted by the town board of the town of McMillan at a meeting held on, what's today?
October
13th. Okay, the resolution is, this is after many, many meetings on the farmland preservation. Whereas Section 59.69 5E3M Wisconsin statutes provides that if a town affected by a proposed amendment or amendments disapproves of the proposed amendments, the town board may file a certified copy of a resolution adopted by such board disapproving of the petition with the county zoning committee prior to or at least 10 days after the public hearing. And whereas if the majority of the town boards of the towns affected disapprove of amendments to the ordinance, the county zoning committee may not recommend to the county board approval of the petition without change, but may only recommend approval with change or recommend disapproval. Whereas the Farm Preservation Zoning District Ordinance and companion zoning map provide an opportunity for property owners within the Farmland Preservation District to participate in the Department of Agriculture Trade and Consumer Protection Tax Credit Program, and for the town to preserve farmland. And whereas the Farmland Preservation Zoning District Ordinance and companion map must be certified by the Department of Agriculture, Trade and Consumer Protection by December 31st, 2014, for participating property owners to receive their tax credits. And whereas the town on due notice conducted a public hearing on the proposed ordinance and map and have given due consideration by the town board in an open session. And you want, right here.
And whereas exclusive ag district shall be rescinded and shall be replaced by the Farmland Preservation District, and whereas a comprehensive plan has been adopted by the town and the proposed Farmland Preservation Zoning District ordinance and map are compatible with the adopted comprehensive plan, and whereas the town board hereby requests review by the county zoning committee and subsequent recommendation for county board approval of the attached Farmland Preservation Zoning District ordinance and accompanying zoning map. Now be it resolved, the attached Farmland Preservation Zoning District ordinance and map amendment supersedes and rescinds prior town exclusive ag district ordinances or parts thereof in conflict with the general code of ordinances for Marathon County Chapter 17 zoning code. Now therefore be it further resolved that the town board of the town of McMillan considered on the 13th day of October 2014 the petition of Rebecca Frisch, Director, Marathon County Conservation Planning and Zoning Department, to amend the Marathon County zoning ordinance and companion map as attached, and hereby approves the Farmland Preservation District ordinance text and map amendment as attached, or disapproves the Farmland Preservation District ordinance text and map amendment attached. And it has to be signed by the clerk and the town board. And it says to the town board, if you recommend disapproval, please make every effort to send a representative to the public hearing. If you're unable to send a representative, please indicate exactly what you disapprove of. If you recommend either approval or disapproval, your input at the hearing is appreciated. Please make every effort to return the form before October 31st, 2014 to the Land Conservation Zoning Committee, Marathon County Conservation Planning and Zoning Department, 210 River Drive, Wausau. Can I see the map? This is what we went over.
We went through all of that before, didn't we?
Yes. That was after our last meeting.
Anyone from the audience want to see it?
Kind of tell them what it is. Maybe you can hold it up.
Well, there's all the classifications, and they vary from the small parcels that are residential to the white, which is the farmland preservation. So, as it's indicated, whatever's in mostly white is farmland preservation, and what's in green is in the transitional zones. Rural estate is yellow. Rural residential is brown, and that goes by size and size of parcels. Plan Commission went over it the last couple of years and brought all the parcels into compliance. So it should be as close to accurate as we can get it.
Is that compared to smart growth? Has that got any comparison to what smart growth used to be, or still is?
Not really, because this is the preservation map. What they're talking about now is the ag enterprise area. And the reason McMillan was involved in it was because the town of Day and Green Valley wanted to receive the maximum amount of farmland preservation credits, and all parcels had to be contiguous. In other words, the meetings were, and what is this called? The Heart of America, no, Heart of Wisconsin Dairyland, I believe was the acronym, because it includes a lot of townships in Clark County, and in order for town of Day and town of Green Valley residents, all parcels had to be contiguous. In other words, it had to be adjoining. It couldn't be hodgepodge. So, and that, we really had, McMillan was the key for continuing that enterprise area. So that's what has been worked on for the last year or more. Any other questions that I might be able to answer?
So what is the smart growth plan?
That I can't answer. I'll be first to admit that.
I thought that was supposed to be the same thing as this. In a manner.
It maybe changed, maybe
Years
changed.
ago, that's when they got into smart growth.
Well, I think that the gist of the program is to preserve farmland and do it in large enough chunks so we don't have conflicts with rural residents.
It's development.
Right.
Right.
And that's what
And
smart
that's-
growth was designed for.
Well,
And
is that good or is that bad? I mean, how many opinions do we have in the room? As many people as we have in the room. And that's what Wisconsin and America is all about, I guess. But would I like to be next to a large animal confined feeding operation? No. But I think this probably lays the groundwork to where, once it's in a large contiguous area that's agriculture, what's there is what's there. And it's buyer beware, you know? I think it also serves another purpose, you know, and I think Marathon County used us as a poster child. I think we're ahead of the ballgame here because we've concentrated our subdivisions in areas rather than having them spread out all over the place. And that's, you can see they're kind of in a consecutive group and blocks, and that was the thinking behind it. Is it gonna make everybody happy? No.
so where does section 28 play into this issue?
Section 28 went into transition leg because
Well,
of,
the majority of it did, weren't they going to switch some of that back to, they were gonna switch some of that back because they wanted something, somebody wanted something.
well, start green.
Wasn't it something with somebody was losing their tax credits?
Yep, that, but there was something else involved with that. It was, Russ Schaefer would have been losing his tax credit, or whoever else was farming over there.
Right.
But there was another reason why they were gonna go ask them to be, put
Well,
back
they
in the
met, there were the
general
two
ag.
people, and one of them was
Russ?
Russ, and was the other one, Bruce.
Bruce.
Mm-hmm.
And they both wanted left in transition.
Oh, okay.
Right.
So that was
So
the,
and the transitional is what dictates, the exclusive versus transitional is what dictates the amount of tax dollars per acre that there was. There was a difference between $7.50 and $10 per acre. So, is it gonna go to development someday? Who knows, you know?
so, okay. So do we have a motion to approve this resolution?
I don't know.
I'll second.
Okay. Motion's been made and seconded to approve the resolution on farmland preservation zoning district ordinance and accompanying map amendment. Is there any further discussion? Okay, vote.
Debbie?
Aye.
Dave?
Aye.
Carolyn?
Aye.
Norm?
Aye.
The other thing here that we had on the, under unfinished business was the revised town zoning map and the language. I got an email from Dean Johnson that says that at the October Land Conservation Planning and Zoning Committee meeting, the committee discussed the feedback that we received from the town meetings. Remember when we were asked about the size? With this information, they made the decision to reduce the minimum acreage from 39 acres to 35 acres for residential construction. So that was, so I guess they're asking us, that's what all of this entails then, with the resolution. Uh-huh, yeah, thank you.
We don't have to sign a map or anything, send it back?
Well, it doesn't say to sign the map.
I think we, by approving it,
By approving it, it's accepted. It includes the map. Okay, then the next one is the resolution. We have a resolution on the Board of Adjustment hearing. The resolution, whereas the Marathon County Board of Adjustment is established for the purpose of hearing certain appeals and applications and granting variances in harmony with the general purpose and intent of land use regulations, and whereas such a hearing is scheduled to come before the board affecting lands within the town of McMillan. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of McMillan considered on 13th day of October 2014 the application of MyTech Services on behalf of We Energies. The property is owned by Robert and Sharon Roshite, Kenneth Roshite, Kelly Rodriguez, and Connie Bushman for the purpose of requesting a variance to setbacks to upgrade an existing facility on property described. What it is John Bajowski and I went out and looked, and it's on Stott Road over there, where they've got that big, they've got all those gauges and so forth. And what they want to do is put a building somewhere around that. It's the gas company wanting to do that. So apparently they
and
have.
that's over by Rochester place?
Yes.
Okay.
So,
It's an 8 by 10 building.
yeah.
Are Rochester happy with this?
Apparently
They've been contacted.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
They're okay with it?
yes, as far as I know they are.
They got notice of it.
Yeah. So, do we have a motion to approve or disapprove of this? If you want to look, you can see exactly what it is.
No.
It's a little bitty, one of those like, a little bitty shed building.
Yeah.
It's 8 by
Cold.
10. Here's what the shed looks like.
Yeah.
Cover up the front.
Yeah. It's the building over the piping is what it is. Over
Then
the,
they probably don't mind having that there.
I would think it would look better than what they have.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, I make a motion to approve the resolution for the Board of Adjustments hearing versus We Energies, the setback variances.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded to approve the resolution on the Board of Adjustment hearing for MyTech Services on behalf of We Energies. Any further discussion? So,
Debbie,
Aye.
Dave,
Aye.
Carolyn,
aye.
Norm.
Aye.
Okay. Okay, we need a motion to reappoint the clerk and treasurer. We cannot discuss their salaries at this point because we need to do a review.
Can we do the reappointment at next meeting after the reviews are done?
Yes,
Okay.
so we'll move that to next month.
Right.
Okay, now.
Just add it here.
Yeah, you need to sign.
Are we gonna also be doing the reviews for Jean?
That's it, it's only one, right there. You just need to
Are we gonna
sign.
be doing reviews for anybody else?
Well, I think we need to do them all.
Okay.
You want to sign it?
Better.
Last week of the month, sound good to you, Carolyn, or the first week in November?
Yes.
Okay. Let me
Whatever.
know.
Okay. What did I do with that letter? Who looked at the letter last? Did you have it?
Which letter are you looking for?
Yes.
Oh, I got it on my iPad otherwise.
Is it down there, Norm?
Jeff's.
Thank you.
Where's my copy?
I guess not. There you go. Okay, dear Mrs. Opitz, with this letter, I hereby submit my resignation from the Town of McMillan Board of Supervisors effective October 13th, 2014 at 2 p.m. This was not an easy decision to make, however, it is what is best for the township and its residents. I'm grateful for the rewarding experience of serving the community. At your convenience, I will be glad to discuss the reassignment of my work to others. I wish you, the supervisors in the township, the best of luck and continued success. We have a motion to accept that resignation.
I so move.
I'll second it.
Motion has been made and seconded to accept the resignation of Jeff Ing. Is there any discussion on it? Okay, put it right here.
Did he get his house sold? Did he get his house sold? I know he had an offer, but just out of curiosity.
My understanding is that he accepted an offer on his house, so he's no longer eligible if it's gone. I don't know if they've closed yet or not, but if that's the case, he's no longer a resident here now anyway. So, can we vote?
Yep. Debbie?
Aye.
Dave?
Aye.
Carolyn?
Aye.
Norm?
Aye.
Okay, appoint supervisor to complete Engel's term. I have now, Larry, I heard what you had to say about Gary Franz. I want to tell you that I did, Gary, remember when I asked you what you could do for us? And you said, no, I don't want anything because I've got too many other things. That day you came into the clerk's office. So therefore, if I've not done this correctly, I apologize. But we did, I had already spoken to, Deb and I had spoken to, Mr. Berger.
Joe.
Sorry about that, Joe.
Joe.
Joe, yes, so, who had said he'd get back to us, and he has agreed to fill that position just to the end of the term.
Which is
It will be till the election in
Next
April.
election.
a 15.
So, anybody want to make a motion?
Also,
Okay,
motion is by Joe.
I'll second.
motion's been made and seconded to appoint Joe Berger to complete Jeff Engel's term, which goes to April 2015. Is there any discussion about this?
You sure you want to do this?
Yes.
Thank you.
I do have I remember you asked me quite a while ago to get on a committee or something, and I did decline that. I'm not gonna deny that. However, if I would have been asked to take this, I would have agreed to do it, just so you know. And I do have a lot of things now, you know, going on.
I know you
would've-
do, I do, and I certainly hope that you would think about running You know, you know, because with the more, we need new people all the time. You and I, the old codgers here, the old codgers, but you know, yeah, well, we gotta talk about that. So, another time. Okay, anyway. Okay, can we have a vote?
Yes, Debbie,
Aye.
Dave,
Aye.
Carolyn,
Aye.
Norm.
Aye.
Okay, Joe, we would like you at this time to take the oath of office, please. You have that with you, Denise? You just go by her. Just read it.
I, Joe Berger, having been appointed to the office of Town Board Supervisor for a term of 2013 to 2015, commence on the 13th day of October 2014, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin, and will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of said office to the best of my ability. So help me God.
Thank you. Welcome, Mr. Supervisor.
Okay. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
We might have to.
Just one.
Well, what about that,
Oh, that's really?
Well,
Okay.
oh,
Is that the, yeah,
yes.
One of them is an
This one.
but I'm there 92 too.
does that have to go? Is that 9 cents?
Pretty much the plan commission, Tim Dillon's problem. When we get here,
It's a farm consolidation, and I talked to John.
yeah.
And he said,
yeah, I
sign it back to the.
yeah,
Right.
sometimes.
Okay, okay, excuse me. We have not,
We're not done yet.
Otherwise I don't have time.
Ronnie. We have one more motion to make here. Sorry, thank you. Okay, this did come to us, and Mr. Breland asked to be put on the agenda for this proposed consolidation.
On the agenda, you have parcel split.
Well, that's what it's called, proposed parcel split, but
Okay, but it's
here it
moving it up
says
on the
farm
county.
consolidation.
Okay.
So
Okay.
what they're doing over on County Trunkie is they're taking the Hanson property and taking it, I think there'll be a parcel of 21 acres, and I talked to John Jowski this afternoon, he said it meets all the criteria that is in here. Because I asked him if he couldn't be here, I thought Breland would be here. But this has to go to the Board of Adjustments, so.
Well, they'll probably need that then before the end of the month.
That's what I'm saying.
So we need to do, we don't want to hold them up. So.
I'll make a motion to accept the CSM for Marge Hanson.
For the proposed parcels.
Right.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion has been made and seconded to approve the proposed parcel split for Marge Hanson for the farm consolidation. Any further discussion? Okay.
Debbie,
Aye.
Dave,
Aye.
Carolyn,
Aye.
Norm.
Okay, now, let's have our motion again here for the,
I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
I'll second.
motion been made and seconded to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
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 Adjourned.
Welcome, Joe.
Our first meeting will be, what is it, Thursday night?
Tomorrow night?
No.
For a budget meeting
Okay, yeah.
at 6.
When?
Is it Thursday night?
Thursday at 6.
If you can't make